Let me take you on a journey, a story of resilience, transformation, and the incredible power of small choices. This is the story of James Clear, who, after a life-altering accident in high school, discovered that true change doesn't come from one dramatic moment, but from the tiny, consistent habits we build every single day. What started as a struggle to recover became a revelation. The small atomic habits we often overlook are the secret to creating extraordinary results over time. It's not about overnight success or grand gestures. It's about showing up day after day and making choices that compound into something remarkable. And here's the truth that changed everything. Goals alone won't get you there. What really matters are the systems you create, the repeatable, intentional processes that set you up for lifelong success. When you focus on the system, the results take care of themselves. That's the magic of atomic habits, and it's a magic you can start using today. Part 1. The Fundamentals. Chapter 1. The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits. The impact of small, consistent improvements. 1% better every day? In The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits, James Clear introduces a game-changing idea. Small, consistent improvements, just 1% better every day, can lead to extraordinary results over time. It's not about drastic changes or overnight success. It's about the tiny, atomic habits that compound, much like interest in a savings account. Imagine improving by just 1% daily. By the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better than where you started. This compounding effect is what makes habits so powerful. They're the building blocks of long-term success because they shape your identity and create a foundation for continuous growth. Whether it's in your health, career, or personal life, habits are the invisible force that drives progress, one small step at a time. Chapter 2. How your habits shape your identity and vice versa. The relationship between habits, identity, and behavior. In How Your Habits Shape Your Identity and Vice Versa, James Clear dives into the powerful connection between habits, identity, and behavior. He explains that behavior change happens on 3 levels: outcomes, what you want to achieve; processes, the systems you follow; and identity, the beliefs you hold about yourself. Most people focus solely on outcomes, but the real key to lasting change is shifting your identity. Your habits are a reflection of who you believe you are. For example, if you want to become a runner, it's not just about lacing up your shoes, it's about seeing yourself as someone who runs. When you focus on becoming the type of person who achieves your goals, your habits naturally align with that identity. In other words, every small action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. Over time, these votes add up, and your identity evolves. It's not just about doing, it's about being. Chapter 3. How to Build Better Habits in 4 Simple Steps. The Habit Loop, Cue, Craving, Response, Reward. In How to Build Better Habits in 4 Simple Steps, James Clear breaks down the science of habit formation using the habit loop, a cycle that consists of 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. The craving creates the motivation to act. The response is the action itself. And the reward satisfies the craving and reinforces the habit. To make this practical, Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change, a framework for building good habits and breaking bad ones. For good habits, the laws are: 1. Make it obvious. Cue. 2. Make it attractive. Craving. 3. Make it easy. Response. And 4. Make it satisfying. Reward. To break bad habits, you simply invert the laws. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. By understanding and applying this framework, you can design habits that stick and create a system for continuous improvement. Part 2. The first law. Make it obvious. Chapter 4. The man who didn't look right. The role of awareness in habit change. In The Man Who Didn't Look Right, James Clear emphasizes the critical role of awareness in habit change. He shares a story about a man whose life was saved because a medical professional noticed something didn't look right, a reminder that paying attention to subtle cues can have life-altering consequences. Similarly, changing habits starts with self-awareness. You can't change a habit if you don't recognize its cues and triggers. Clear encourages self-observation as the first step. Track your habits, identify patterns, and notice what prompts your behaviors. Are you snacking because you're hungry, or is it stress? Do you check your phone out of habit or boredom? By shining a light on these cues, you gain the power to interrupt automatic behaviors and replace them with intentional ones. Awareness is the foundation of habit change. It's the moment you realize you have a choice. Chapter 5. The best way to start a new habit. Implementation intentions. When X happens, I will do Y. In The Best Way to Start a New Habit, James Clear introduces 2 powerful strategies to make new habits stick: implementation intentions and habit stacking. Implementation intentions are simple plans that follow the format. When X happens, I will do Y. For example, when I wake up, I'll drink a glass of water. This strategy eliminates decision fatigue by tying your new habit to a specific cue. The second strategy, habit stacking, builds on this idea by linking a new habit to an existing one. For instance, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. By piggybacking on habits you already do consistently, you create a natural flow that makes the new behavior easier to adopt. Together, these strategies help you design a clear, actionable plan for building habits that seamlessly integrate into your daily life. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. How your environment shapes your behavior. In Motivation is Overrated, environment often matters more. James Clear flips the script on habit change by highlighting the underestimated power of your environment. While motivation comes and goes, your surroundings have a constant influence on your behavior. Clear explains that small changes in your environment can make a big difference. For example, placing a bowl of fruit on the counter makes healthy eating more obvious, while hiding junk food in a cupboard makes it less tempting. The key is to design your space to support the habits you want to build and disrupt the ones you want to break. By making good habits obvious and bad habits invisible, you set yourself up for success without relying on willpower alone. After all, it's easier to resist temptation when it's out of sight and out of mind. Chapter 7. The Secret to Self-Control. The Role of Environment in Reducing Temptation. In The Secret to Self-Control, James Clear challenges the idea that self-control is all about willpower. Instead, he argues that the real secret lies in designing your environment to reduce temptation. Clear explains that willpower is a limited resource. It's much easier to avoid temptation altogether than to resist it in the moment. For example, if you want to cut down on screen time, leave your phone in another room while you work. If you're trying to eat healthier, don't keep sugary snacks in the house. By removing the cues that trigger bad habits, You eliminate the need for constant self-control. In other words, the best way to strengthen self-control isn't to rely on sheer willpower. It's to create an environment that supports your goals and makes bad habits harder to fall into. Part 3. The second law. Make it attractive. Chapter 8. How to make a habit irresistible. The role of dopamine in habit formation. In How to Make a Habit Irresistible, James Clear dives into the science of what makes habits stick. And it all comes down to dopamine. This feel-good chemical isn't just released when you experience pleasure. It's also released in anticipation of it, which makes dopamine a key driver of motivation and habit formation. Clear suggests using this to your advantage by making habits more attractive. One powerful strategy is temptation bundling, pairing a habit you need to do with something you genuinely enjoy. For example, if you want to exercise more but love binge-watching your favorite show, only allow yourself to watch while on the treadmill. By linking a less enjoyable habit to something you find irresistible, you create a sense of anticipation and reward that makes the habit easier to adopt. In short, when you make a habit attractive, you're far more likely to stick with it. Chapter 9. The role of family and friends in shaping your habits, the influence of social norms and peer pressure. In the role of family and friends in shaping your habits, James Clear explores the powerful influence of social norms and peer pressure on our behavior. Humans are wired to fit in, and we often adopt habits that align with the groups we're part of, whether good or bad. If your friends prioritize fitness, you're more likely to exercise. If your coworkers snack on junk food, you might find yourself doing the same. Clear emphasizes that one of the most effective ways to build better habits is to surround yourself with people who embody the behaviors you want to adopt. By joining cultures where your desired behavior is the norm, you tap into the power of social reinforcement. For example, if you want to read more, join a book club. If you want to eat healthier, spend time with people who value nutrition. When your habits align with your social environment, change becomes not only easier, but also more enjoyable. Chapter 10. How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. Understanding the underlying motives behind bad habits. In How to Find and Fix the Causes of Your Bad Habits, James Clear encourages us to dig deeper into the why behind our habits. Every habit, good or bad, serves a purpose. For example, you might scroll through social media to escape stress or snack late at night to combat boredom. By understanding the underlying motives driving your bad habits, you can address the root cause rather than just the behavior itself. Clear suggests reframing your habits to make them more attractive by highlighting their benefits. For instance, if you want to stop procrastinating, focus on how good it feels to complete a task rather than how tedious it seems. When you shift your mindset and associate positive emotions with the habits you want to build, they become more appealing and easier to adopt. It's not about fighting your impulses, it's about redirecting them toward better choices. Part 4. The third law. Make it easy. Chapter 11. Walk slowly but never backward. The importance of taking action, even if it's small. In Walk Slowly but Never Backward, James Clear reminds us that progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. The key to building habits is simply taking action, no matter how small. Even a tiny step forward is better than standing still or moving backward. Clear emphasizes that repetition is the foundation of habit formation. Every time you repeat a behavior, you're strengthening the neural pathways that make it easier to do again in the future. It's not about perfection or speed, it's about consistency. For example, if you want to start exercising, don't worry about running a marathon on day one. Just put on your shoes and take a walk. The goal is to show up and repeat the behavior until it becomes automatic. Remember, habits are built through frequency, not intensity. Slow progress is still progress, and over time, those small steps add up to big results. Chapter 12, The Law of Least Effort, Reducing Friction to Make Good Habits Easy. In the Law of Least Effort, James Clear explains that humans naturally gravitate toward the path of least resistance. This means that the easier a habit is to do, the more likely you are to stick with it. And the harder it is, the less likely you'll follow through. To build good habits, you need to reduce friction. For example, if you want to read more, leave a book on your pillow so it's the first thing you see at bedtime. On the flip side, to break bad habits, you need to increase friction. If you want to cut down on screen time, unplug the TV and put the remote in a drawer by designing your environment to make good habits effortless and bad habits inconvenient. You align your surroundings with your goals. The less energy a habit requires, the more likely it is to become automatic. It's not about willpower, it's about working smarter, not harder. Chapter 13, How to Stop Procrastinating by Using the 2-Minute Rule. Starting small. Make habits so easy you can't say no. In How to Stop Procrastinating by Using the 2-Minute Rule, James Clear introduces a simple yet powerful strategy to overcome procrastination. Start small. The idea is to make your habit so easy that you can't say no. The 2-minute rule states that when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. For example, if you want to build a reading habit, start by reading just 1 page. If you want to run regularly, begin by putting on your running shoes. The goal isn't to finish the task, but to master the art of showing up. Once you've started, you'll often find it easier to keep going. This rule works because it builds momentum. Small wins create a sense of accomplishment and make it easier to take the next step. Over time, these 2-minute actions compound into meaningful habits. It's not about doing everything at once, it's about starting somewhere and letting the momentum carry you forward. Chapter 14, How to Make Good Habits Inevitable and Bad Habits Impossible. Using commitment devices to lock in good habits. In How to Make Good Habits Inevitable and Bad Habits Impossible, James Clear shares strategies to lock in good habits and eliminate bad ones. One powerful tool is the use of commitment devices, choices you make in the present that control your actions in the future. For example, if you want to save money, set up an automatic transfer to your savings account each payday. If you want to avoid distractions, use apps that block social media during work hours. These devices remove the need for willpower by making good habits automatic and bad habits difficult to access. Clear also emphasizes the importance of automating habits to reduce decision fatigue. When you design your environment and routines to support your goals, you eliminate the mental effort required to make the right choice. By making good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible, you set yourself up for long-term success without relying on constant self-control. Part 5. The fourth law, make it satisfying. Chapter 15, The Cardinal Rule of Behavior Change. The importance of immediate rewards in habit formation. In The Cardinal Rule of Behavior Change, James Clear highlights a crucial truth. For a habit to stick, it needs to be satisfying. Humans are wired to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term benefits, which is why bad habits, like eating junk food or scrolling through social media, are so hard to break. They deliver instant gratification. To build good habits, you need to flip the script by making them satisfying in the short term. For example, if you want to exercise regularly, reward yourself with a smoothie or a few minutes of relaxation afterward. If you're saving money, create a visual tracker to celebrate small milestones. The key is to attach an immediate positive outcome to the habit you're trying to build. When you make good habits enjoyable and rewarding right away, you're far more likely to repeat them. Satisfaction is the glue that holds habits together. Chapter 16, How to Stick with Good Habits. Every day, the role of habit tracking and visual progress. In How to Stick with Good Habits. Every day, James Clear emphasizes the importance of tracking your habits and visualizing your progress. Habit tracking is a simple yet powerful tool that keeps you accountable and motivated. Whether you use a journal, an app, or a calendar, marking off each day you complete a habit creates a visual representation of your commitment. This not only reinforces the behavior, but also gives you a sense of accomplishment. Clear also highlights the power of streaks. The longer you maintain a habit, the more motivated you become to keep the streak alive. Breaking the chain feels like a loss, so you're more likely to stay consistent. By combining habit tracking with the momentum of streaks, you create a feedback loop that makes it easier to stick with good habits every day. It's a reminder that small, consistent actions lead to big results over time. Chapter 17, How an Accountability Partner Can Change Everything. The Role of Social Accountability in Habit Formation. In How an Accountability Partner Can Change Everything, James Clear explores the power of social accountability in building and maintaining habits. When you share your goals with someone else, you're more likely to follow through because you don't want to let them or yourself down. An accountability partner can provide support, encouragement, and a sense of responsibility that keeps you on track. Clear also suggests taking it a step further by using contracts and consequences. For example, you could agree to donate to a charity you dislike if you fail to meet your goal, or reward yourself with something meaningful when you succeed. These external stakes add weight to your commitments and make it harder to give up. By leveraging the power of accountability, whether through a partner, a group, or a contract, you create an extra layer of motivation that helps you stay consistent and achieve your goals. Part 6, Advanced Tactics. Chapter 18, The Truth About Talent. When Genes Matter and When They Don't. The Role of Genetics in Habit Formation. In The Truth About Talent, When Genes Matter and When They Don't, James Clear dives into the complex relationship between genetics and habit formation. While genes play a role in shaping our natural abilities and tendencies, they don't determine our destiny. Clear explains that success often comes from aligning your habits with your strengths, choosing behaviors that feel easier or more enjoyable, because they resonate with your innate talents. For example, if you're naturally more extroverted, you might thrive in habits that involve social interaction, like joining a fitness class or a book club. On the other hand, if you're introverted, you might prefer solitary habits like journaling or running. The key is to experiment, observe what works for you, and design habits that fit your unique personality and abilities. By playing to your strengths, you can make habit formation feel less like a struggle and more like a natural extension of who you are. Chapter 19, The Goldilocks Rule, How to Stay Motivated in Life and Work. The importance of working on tasks that are just the right level of challenge. In the Goldilocks Rule, How to Stay Motivated in Life and Work, James Clear introduces the idea that peak motivation comes from working on tasks that are just right. Not too easy, not too hard, but perfectly challenging. This is the Goldilocks zone, where you're fully engaged and energized because the task pushes you just enough to stay interesting without overwhelming you. Clear explains that tasks that are too easy lead to boredom, while tasks that are too difficult cause frustration and burnout. To stay motivated, you need to find the sweet spot where you're constantly growing, but not struggling to the point of exhaustion. This might mean breaking big goals into smaller, manageable steps or adjusting your approach as you improve. By staying in the Goldilocks zone, you maintain a sense of progress and enjoyment, which keeps you motivated to stick with your habits and achieve your goals over the long term. Chapter 20, The Downside of Creating Good Habits. The potential downsides of habits, e.g., becoming too rigid. In The Downside of Creating Good Habits, James Clear explores the potential pitfalls of habits. Yes, even good ones. While habits are powerful tools for consistency and growth, they can sometimes lead to rigidity. When you automate behaviors, you might stop questioning whether they're still serving you or if there's a better way. Clear emphasizes the importance of reflection and periodic review to avoid falling into this trap. Regularly assess your habits to ensure they align with your current goals and values. Are they still moving you in the right direction? Are there areas where you become complacent? By staying mindful and adaptable, you can prevent habits from turning into mindless routines. The goal isn't just to build habits, it's to build the right habits and to have the flexibility to evolve them as needed. In The Secret to Results That Last, James Clear ties everything together by emphasizing the importance of continuous improvement and lifelong learning. The principles of atomic habits aren't just about achieving short-term goals. They're about creating a system for lasting change. By focusing on small, consistent improvements, designing your environment to support your goals, and aligning your habits with your identity, you set yourself up for long-term success. Clear reminds us that growth is a never-ending journey. It's not about perfection, but about progress. Regularly review your habits, celebrate your wins, and adjust your approach as needed. When you embrace the mindset of continuous improvement, you unlock the potential for transformation that lasts a lifetime. Atomic habits are the building blocks of a better future, one small step at a time.